Today, Capricorn Clark was a former employee of Diddy testifying about kind of the violence she alleges to have seen firsthand. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I think as we're entering this third week of trial, we're seeing how the prosecution's case is coming together and then how the defense is going to proceed with their case. So with Capricorn Clark, we heard a lot of elements of, threats, employees of the organization, treating her in a way that was allegedly criminal. And that's going to bring together the racketeering charge. So you see the state kind of bringing in all of these witnesses piecemeal to show how employees were involved, to show how force and coercion played into Diddy's relationship with Cassie. And I mean, we have to remember that Cassie was 19 and Diddy was 37 when this relationship began. So there's automatically an imbalance of power there. And then with Kid Cudi, we saw underscored how much power this man has in the music industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that comes as no surprise to anybody who has seen him find new artists, control new artists. Was there anything that Capricorn Clark mentioned as a former employee that would surprise people?
Boy, one of the stories that was really striking was when Diddy thought that she had stolen some jewelry from him and had a security guard. So again, we have instructing employees of the organization, and that brings in the RICO element, to detain her in an abandoned building and question her, subject her to a lie detector test. And that's really threatening. Obviously, these are alleged events, and the defense did go after her, kind of painting her as a disgruntled employee. But that account really brought together that this is not just an alleged abusive person, but the involvement of an entire organization and enterprise. It's likely that the defense will take over their case soon. Cassie, I hear, just went into labor, so she is now in the hospital here in New York, and that, I'm sure, will have an impact on the emotional import. Obviously, juries are not supposed to be privy to that sort of information, but with a case like this, it's hard to avoid it.
And what are you getting a sense of from the defense? Where is their plan lying here as they move on into now the third week, if the prosecution is wrapping up shortly?
Yes, so we're getting a sense of what their case in chief is going to look like from the cross-examination that they've done of multiple witnesses. Today, obviously, was Capricorn Clark, and in their cross-examination, they tried to paint her as a disgruntled employee. In terms of the relationship with Cassie, it's clear that they're trying to paint this as a toxic relationship, but nothing rising to the level of sex trafficking. But again, with testimony like Kid Cudi's in Cassie's, her mom's, to me, as somebody who represents a lot of domestic violence victims, it is textbook classic case of somebody who is in a coercive control relationship. And even the incident with Kid Cudi happened when Cassie tried to leave. And as a lot of us who are in the domestic violence field know, there is the well-documented phenomenon of separation assault, which means that trying to leave an abusive relationship is the most lethal time in that relationship. So the fact that all these folks are testifying to an escalation of violence or threats when Cassie allegedly attempted to leave really supports this account of sex trafficking.
A lot of this has been tough to watch, a lot of it unfolding